What's going on, guys? Aarava here, and welcome back to my F1 2017 mod career mode with Kimi Raikkonen in the Ferrari car. We're here for round number 12, episode number 11 though, for the Belgium Grand Prix at Spa-Francorchamps. One of my favourite circuits to drive on this game. Looking forward to it very much so. And in qualifying, we've come home in third place. Once again, the two Mercedes cars locking out the front row. They've done so in the last three episodes. Speaking about the last episode, the Hungarian Grand Prix, if you did miss that one, do go check it out. Very, very tasty episode. A lot of different things occurred in that. I won't spoil it, but do go check that out before you see this one. But yeah, the two Mercedes cars going well in qualifying these days, but we've come home in third this time, ahead of our teammate for once, and ahead of both Red Bull cars, who've been doing a pretty decent job as of late to be beating me in qualifying. But this time round, we're just there on the second row. Maybe we could try and do something to turn one. We'll have to see. Obviously, that long run down to Rouge, and then the long Kemmel straight is going to be an opportunity to maybe pass. Obviously, all race long, there's going to be a lot of slipstreaming, probably a lot of passing down that back straight and onto this main straight as well with DRS. So we'll have to see. Definitely a lot of opportunities, and it's been a while since we've won a Grand Prix. So even though we technically don't need to win a Grand Prix to be comfortable after this Grand Prix, it'd be nice to do so. So let's go to 5 red lights to the Belgian Grand Prix. Hamilton on pole position, Bottas second, myself third. We're off and we're underway for the Belgian Grand Prix. 22 laps ahead of us, and it's been a pretty decent start for us, but we haven't been able to jump the two Mercedes cars. They go side by side. Will Bottas actually attack Hamilton? He tried to, but then he tucks in for second, and maybe I have a chance to maybe overtake him up Rouge potentially. We're going to slipstream. Going to have a look down on the inside, on the left-hand side. Not going to work, so we have to duck in and tuck in behind us. And behind us, you can see the Red Bull car of, I think, Verstappen maybe, or one of the Red Bull cars at least, has overtaken my teammate Vettel. So Vettel tries to re-overtake the Red Bull car, and seemingly up ahead of us, you can see Bottas goes for a move down the inside of Hamilton. So I mentioned the slipstream down this back straight, the Kemmel straight. I thought it could have been for us, but no, it's the AI slipstreaming each other, and so Bottas attempts to overtake for first place, doesn't make it work. So it's still Hamilton from Bottas, myself, and then he's still got that Red Bull car in fourth place. I'm still not sure who it is, but he's still ahead of Vettel, so that's very surprising indeed, as you would have probably guessed the Ferrari car would be able to out slipstream the Red Bull car. But again, just like Silverstone, maybe the Red Bull's running lower downforce, and then up ahead, I'm in no man's land, but ahead of me are the two Mercedes cars scrapping away, and then you've got Bottas, who does eventually make the move for the lead of the Grand Prix. 2 laps later, I think this is around lap 3, I think, and then on the very next lap, Hamilton comes back at Bottas. So very much a ping pong of slipstream. Obviously, the slipstream's so powerful on this game. So unlike in real life, where the dirty air is affecting cars very, very much so, the slipstream effect is so powerful in this game that it doesn't matter. And so down the order, it's myself, then Vettel, then it's a Force India of, I want to say, I think that's Sergio Perez, I think, by the kind of yellowish helmet, and then the two Red Bull cars. So I think that was Verstappen who had overtaken Vettel previously, but he's now lost 2 positions. And then behind them, you can see Carlos Sainz making a nice move on one of the Williams cars. I think that was Stroll, and so he's up the order in the bottom end of the points in the top 10. So far, so good for us, and good to see Vettel re-overtook the Red Bull car. And so now we're going to try and see if we can do anything to catch the Mercedes guys. Looks like I'm just about hanging on the back of Bottas, obviously through sector 2, maybe getting some turbulent air off the back of Lewis Hamilton's car. And now as we move on to the end of lap 4, into the bus stop chicane, we've got Lance Stroll out of this Grand Prix, and Bottas comes into the pits. Kvyat out of this Grand Prix, so there's been a crash, and virtual safety car has been called out. So that's actually going to play straight into Bottas's hands, because Bottas effectively gets a free pit stop there. You can see virtual safety car's now ended, as me and Hamilton about halfway through the next lap on lap 5. So just like I've done on previous career mode races, Bottas is going to get a good advantage with, not a complete free pit stop, because it's not a full safety car, obviously. But for that entire time where me and Hamilton are having to drive to the slower delta time, Bottas is gaining some advantage there. So I wouldn't be surprised to see if Bottas jumps myself and Hamilton here. We make the pit stop onto medium tyres, so we're going a little bit longer in this Grand Prix compared to Hamilton, who I want to say, I think it looks like he's on super soft tyres. So very big contrast, and this time, unlike Hungary, I'm going conservative. The other guys around me are going aggressive, so I'm going a lot longer into this Grand Prix. We come out just ahead, I think, of one of the Force India cars behind the two McLaren Hondas. And it looks like the Force India, there's yellow flags towards Rouge, but now it's green, and the Force India will go around the outside of us. I can't tell who it is. I think it may be Esteban Ocon there with the black and red helmet, and so Ocon's got ahead of us. Yes, it is Ocon. He opens DRS, and look at the speed he's actually got with the Mercedes engine, lower drag setup potentially with the Force India. I'm not actually able to catch him, even though I have DRS open as well. And up ahead of us, you can see the two McLaren Hondas go side by side. Vandoorne Vandoorne trying to overtake his more experienced teammate, Fernando Alonso. So that's going to hold up Ocon and myself. And so that's not going to help me at all trying to catch Hamilton, who's 3 cars ahead of us. On the minimap, you can see already gaining a gap to the 2 McLaren Hondas. So I'm really actually getting stuck here on slower tyres. And Ocon, oh my, Ocon, he's going to make some contact with Vandoorne there. That's very, very close. Ocon's done well to actually catch it there at quite a high-speed braking zone into the bus stop chicane. But as we come across the line for lap 7 now, Vettel's in the pit stop, so he'll be just coming out right about now. So as we go into turn 1, trying to maybe overtake Ocon as we maybe have a look around the outside. Vettel is going to be right there. There he is. Can we try and overtake him with Ocon? Ocon's going to get blocked off and brake checked by Vettel, and we've been brake checked and we've hit the wall. There's been damage for half our front wing, so what will that mean for us for the Grand Prix? Ocon goes side by side with Vettel. There's contact! Oh, Ocon side by side! And we've T-boned Ocon. We've lost our front wing, and oh my god, we narrowly just don't smash into one of those cars coming through. That's actually probably a little bit silly of me to accelerate straight back onto the circuit, but thankfully we reversed it, and you can see one of the Renault cars just narrowly misses us. But wow, what? That's well, that's completely wrecked our race then. I was on the medium tyres hoping to go long in this Grand Prix, and even before I crashed fully with Ocon, I had half a front wing, so I probably would have had to come in quite early anyway with a lot of understeer. But now I've got the literally epitome of understeer with no front wing, and so on the end of lap 8, very, very painful. We're already in P16, so already second last. I have a 5-second pit stop go penalty because the FI have given me a penalty for my crash with Ocon. Even though Ocon was T-boned, well, sideways, and I T-boned him. But the top of Rouge, you're going flat out. You're going so fast that I honestly just couldn't react fast enough. My only reaction was slightly turning right, and then that wasn't enough to avoid Ocon. And I don't know which way his car was going to roll, left or right. So that was that's quite harsh from the FIA. And so now I'm down in last place, in 17th place. Ocon, I'm guessing, is out of this Grand Prix now completely. I think he definitely was with his tyre off. So yeah, that's quite bad luck. So now we move on to lap 9. Still in 17th place. We're actually going to overtake up into 16th because Grosjean is making an extra pit stop. So, yippee, we got 1 place there. 16th place out of 17th. The joy. So now, I don't know, really. We've got a lot of laps left in this Grand Prix. I mean, Spa's quite a long lap. So that's quite a lot of time to spend pushing hard, and I do so for 2 more laps. Lap 11, we're pushing hard as ever, but you can see on the mini-map there's just still no one around us. Grosjean's behind us there, just going through that hairpin car. We've got 1 car just about going through past on the next sector, but then look at that. We've got a whole gaggle of train of cars, and I can't speak because I'm just so excited. There's yellow flags. Okay, this may be something. I'm praying for a safety car. This may be something that gets us back into this Grand Prix. I set it onto the medium tyres. We're on rich mix now. We're on soft. I'm going to push as hard as I can because something's gone on. I don't know quite what, but now we're up into 14th place, 13th place indeed. Okay, I'm starting to get some hope back here. We've got a car coming out ahead of us. We've actually got a car to overtake now in this Grand Prix. It's Magnussen. I'm starting to feel a little bit more positive. I thought we were completely out of this Grand Prix. It was going to be a pretty boring one, just like Baku, but no. I think we could be getting back into this. We're only 4 places off points, and something, I don't know what, but something has gone on in this Grand Prix. There was definitely a train of cars there in the second sector. So here we go. DRS wide open, setting a purple first sector down the inside of Magnussen. Just about get it on the inside to feed it around the outside there. Gave us enough room alongside him, and now we're up into P13. So we continue to push on, and Valtteri Bottas is out of this Grand Prix. So one of our biggest rivals in terms of getting points on us is out of this Grand Prix. Virtual safety car has been called out because of that. So that's great, because if I didn't get any points in this Grand Prix, Bottas would have been one of the guys that would have really benefited from me not scoring any points, along with Hamilton, the 2 Red Bulls, and my teammate Vettel, obviously. So now we are returning to racing. We're up into P12. There are more people in the pit stops now, so we're up into P10 now. So we are into the points now officially. So this is a Grand Prix worth sticking with and worth fighting for, because we can get at least something out of this Grand Prix. Ricciardo comes out behind us. So that is very, very big, because Ricciardo would have been definitely ahead of us with that crash. But now, with whatever's gone on, maybe, I don't know, maybe he was involved with the Bottas collision, I'm not too sure. I don't know if Bottas just ended his race with engine failure, but Ricciardo overtakes us with DRS because he's got DRS, he's got the momentum. There's no, even a Red Bull car can overtake me with DRS, just how powerful the DRS is down that main Kemmel straight. But we can try and re-overtake him potentially in the coming lap. And I think I could probably try and maybe also use Ricciardo as a bit of a tow, really, like I've used Vettel in previous Grand Prix to kind of pull me along really down the straight, like I did in my driver as well. But we're looking at lap 14 now, the next lap, Lewis Hamilton here, and now this is the reason why, because we've got an engine failure for Hamilton. Calamities for Mercedes, AMG, Petronas today, because both cars are now out of this Grand Prix. So there was going to be maybe a no-point score position for one of the Ferrari cars, but now even that's not on, and both Ferraris going to score in this race, and now both Mercedes are not. So from what turned out to be looking like a very, very good Grand Prix for Mercedes, you know, being able to score big on Ferrari, now both of us are still in this Grand Prix. Vettel's, I'm guessing, somewhere in the top 3. I'm fighting for what is now P7 with Ricciardo. So I was 16th at one point, and now the luck has swung right back into my favour, and now we're fighting. We're down to P8 though, as we try and go around the outside of Ricciardo. The only flaw I can see in my plan right now of making a bit of a big comeback here is because I have to make another pit stop for sure, because I can't go to the end on this set of soft tyres. So I'm just not too sure when other people are going to make their pit stop, so that will be just the one thing to look at. But now we move on to lap 15 now, closing up on Pascal Wehrlein, who's done a fantastic job to get up into 6th place in his very slow Sauber, so much so we closed up that much in the braking zone. And now we get the slipstream as we go towards Rouge. This may be a very bold move. Here we go side by side around the outside of Pascal Wehrlein. A little bit of contact there, but that's fine. We go side by side still. It's all well and good, and what a move there. That was worth it. Absolutely awesome stuff there. Great action. And Wehrlein, I'm sorry to ruin your party there, and I hope you get some points at the end of that, but that was a very, very awesome move. Very, very enjoyable, and I think, that was a nice contrast to the misery we had earlier on the Grand Prix. But now, speaking of that pit stop, we come in on lap 17 now, so we've got 5 laps left. I'm actually going to go on to a set of super soft tyres, because 5 laps, the super softs can go 5 laps for sure. We went 5 laps at the beginning of the Grand Prix, did we not? We went 4 laps, I think, but lower fuel, 5 laps should definitely be no issue. So we can just go literally ham sandwiches, just push as hard as we can, see where we can get up to. You know, even if we don't get anywhere, we get to P7 only, that's still going to be pretty damn good, considering we were P16 at one point, and we're trolling around even before that at P18 with no front wing. So we come out of the pits just ahead of one of the Renault cars of Hulkenberg. He's going to go side by side with us. He's going to overtake us around the outside of Eau Rouge. I lift off because I don't want any contact made there, especially because I'm the inside car. The guy on the inside of that corner, you always have to sort of lift off because you're the one really determining if there's going to be a crash or not. So Hulkenberg's made the move on me. He goes down the inside of Magnussen. I may use this to my advantage now. Can we make a double overtake potentially, or just overtake Hulkenberg as he's distracted by Magnussen? And so he parks the bus just in front of my nose. We're going to make a little bit dive down the inside here, a little lock up, but we make it work. Got good momentum through this really understeery right-hander, I think it's a good way to describe it. And then the corner with no name, and we close up to Magnussen now, hopefully in the next little section through Pouhon. Try and use our superior Ferrari downforce down the gear to 6th. Then we're going to go flat quite early on through the middle part of the corner, and we're going to close right up to the gearbox of the Dane in the Haas car. We're going to dive down the inside here. He's going to have to leave us the room. We're going to force his hand now. He's on medium tyres. We're on super soft, so surely we'll be able to get this. I do have to leave him the room though, so it's not over yet, but can we just get it on this next corner? A little bit off camber there, so he's gone wide, and we've gone a little bit wayward, but we've got it eventually, and we're up into P7 once again. So like I said, maybe that's where we're going to have to end it off. I'm not too sure, but there's a big train right behind us, and Magnussen's going to come back at us with the slipstream down the back straight. Also, the Renault of Hulkenberg and a Red Bull car of Ricciardo may be there for the move. We're going to try and have to re-overtake the Haas car down the inside of the bus stop. We're going to go quite deep into the bus stop to try and fend him off, really park it on the apex, that second apex, and we're going to keep P7 there. So it's going to be Magnussen in P8, then it's going to be Hulkenberg, Daniel Ricciardo, I think that is, and then I think that may be Fernando Alonso on the tail end of the points, just ahead of another car. But now we move on to the final lap of the Grand Prix, and unfortunately it is going to be how I predicted. It's going to be P7 there. That's still a very noble effort. Jolyon Palmer, well done, mate, well done. You're going to get P6 ahead of me, ahead of a Ferrari, ahead of Kimi Raikkonen, so he's done very well. Oh, look at that. It's going to be Sebastian Vettel, my teammate, who wins the Grand Prix. So, yeah, as I said, really did turn from what was going to be an excellent Grand Prix for both Mercedes cars 1-2, potentially getting really big points over a non-scoring Ferrari. Now it's going to be Ferrari winning the Grand Prix, me and P7, and we get a whole load of points over Mercedes there. And with Red Bull also, Red Bull will also get a whole load of points because we've got Verstappen scoring quite highly with the podium there. So for the championship, that's actually quite big because now this brings Vettel only 8 points in it between me and Vettel. So what looked like a very comfortable championship lead, like literally last round, it's now all been turned on its head with one bad race, one unlucky race with Ocon's crash there, and myself. Now Vettel's only 8 points off. If he wins one Grand Prix more and I come in second, that's a 1 point difference. So things are getting very, very interesting. We can see Ricciardo now is closing up on Hamilton there in points, and Verstappen is only 1 point off Valtteri Bottas. So the two Red Bull cars are coming back into this fully now attacking Mercedes, and they're only 7 points behind Mercedes in the championship. But Ferrari, we extend our lead. So the fight for first place in the constructors is getting away from Mercedes, but the fight for second between Red Bull and Mercedes is hotting up for sure. But guys, if you have enjoyed that episode, smash the like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. And you're to subscribe for weekly F1 content. I've been Aarava. Hope you enjoy the rest of the day, and we'll see you guys next time.